And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. We are here to talk about NFL Week 14. It was a wild one. A lot to get to. We're probably not even going to be able to get to all the crazy headlines that came from this week. The playoffs are so close. Everything is getting tense. And if you want to bet on all these really dramatic games, make sure to go and do it over with our good friends over at FanDuel. Also, the college football playoffs coming up. Go do that over at FanDuel as well. Sean, any lines you're liking for tonight? You taking Chargers?
I am not
Jalen Carter.
I am not taking Chargers. I still like the over 41.5. I still like the Eagles because the Chargers are just a good enough team, Joe. They're just good enough to lose, but push Philly to actually have to play offense instead of just being boring and bad and boring. But don't worry, we've got a great game. Have you peeped what we got Thursday?
Who's Thursday? I can only have so much.
I
only have so much attention span to keep track of what happens a day in advance.
Dude, we have an absolute
it's gonna be a bad game
on Thursday. Falcons at Bucs.
Oh no!
Bucs only favored by 5.5. Hey,
Whoa.
Those of you that like FanDuel and use FanDuel and like that the show has FanDuel going, it should be another doubled line against the Atlanta Falcons. I was right about that all week. I'm going to be right about this one also.
All right, well, we're not here to talk lines just yet for that upcoming game. We're here to talk about what happened in the NFL this past week. We got to start with what was one of the most chaotic games, another fantastic snow game. Bills versus Bengals. I think that we played the fun game. Oh, the Bengals. Oh, could they do it? Could they do the thing?
I tell you about that, man?
Could they do that? What, me move my hands like this? No, I did this. I didn't do that. I did this.
Is that okay?
This is different.
Is that's that far off?
This is a new one. This is a new one. We thought that maybe the Bengals could go on some little funky run and Joe Burrow could just get them to the finish line only to fall short, but it looks like they're basically cooked. This is going to be too much of an uphill battle. They lost this game, and there's a lot of funny layers to this. There were only 2 combined punts in this win. It's the second fewest combined punts in a game in 2025. The Bengals have now lost 3 games this season in which they've scored 34-plus points. That ties the most games in a single season all time with the 2024 Bengals and the 2002 Kansas City Chiefs, as well as the 1985 San Diego Chargers. Dude, I know that it's not lazy, but we're just slapping the button going, all right, they're cooked. But, man, I don't know how you couldn't be more cooked.
Yeah, uber cooked, totally cooked. They were cooked at Thanksgiving. Now they're getting cooked again before Christmas, and it's going to be another.
They weren't cooked at Thanksgiving. They were still in the oven.
They were cooked.
They
won.
In
the throes of a 1-8 stretch, and now Joe Burrow is back. Actually, that ended it. They were still cooked. Joe Burrow, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions were interceptions that I think that he would have gotten out of his system in October. Those are interceptions that wouldn't tank the season had he played a full season. That doesn't always work out in the NFL. It's what makes it so great. It's what makes it so difficult. The Cincinnati Bengals this year and what they've put together since that Super Bowl. Let me just make this a little more all encapsulating because it's been a multiple year issue with them. They're starting to creep into my Randy Moss, Chris Carter Vikings team that was great and made a lot of great moments, and offense was electric and will be remembered in history as one of the best offenses that we've seen in the sport of football. They didn't win nothing. They didn't win anything. And that's what the Bengals are toiling with right now, is being an all-time talent waste situation where you have otherworldly quarterback, 2 otherworldly wide receivers, and that just can't be stopped. Like if this was, it's different than Atlanta, right? Atlanta has a bunch of talent, bunch of first-round picks. They can be stopped. It's kind of rotational. You've never seen Atlanta.
You guys don't have a quarterback.
Yes. And additionally, it's like once out of every 17 weeks, the whole offense will get going and be really good. Other than that, it's by committee. The Bengals, when they're really rolling, you can't stop them. You can't cover T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and try to bottle up Joe Burrow from making other exceptional throws. And it's all for naught. I don't know what the Bengals are. I know I enjoy watching them. I know that I think they're good for the sport. And watching this, it's like, how do you not keep Zach Taylor? How do you not keep this team together on the off chance it stays put? It's so toxic. It's the most toxic long distance relationship anybody's ever been in, because 2 months out of the year is hell. And then you get back and it's a bangathon and you're like, my world's never been better. So how do you keep this thing going?
Good comment here by the Sound McGee 04. Organizational malpractice. The Bengals dedicated to the tank when they didn't re-sign Jesse Bates. And I know that that's like one specific situation, but they haven't taken themselves seriously with maneuvering, building their defense. There are very few franchises I think that you can look at and go, the ownership group needs to sell the team. They're so cheap and lame. They don't want to put together a really competitive, good team. They have something, as you just talked about here, providing that past example. They have the opportunity to have a consistent top 5 team in the NFL. If you had an ownership group that was willing to spend and then to, in turn, consistently win, which would produce results in the field, which would produce exposure and further build what you can get out of this. Instead, you've got a nickel and diming dummy who's not willing to pay Trey Hendrickson, and the whole Shamar Stewart situation that was emblematic of how they operate and how they handle things. They can't just say yes. They can't be excited about wanting to be successful. I don't know what the path forward is for them, because it feels like a rooted problem that is impacted by how they operate. This is not a defense that gets fixed overnight, but maybe a couple of moves in the offseason do get them back on track. The one thing, though, that remains a constant is that Josh Allen is unbelievably unstoppable. He became the first player in NFL history with 20-plus passing touchdowns and 10-plus rushing touchdowns in 3 or more career seasons. He has 22 pass touchdowns, 12 rushing touchdowns in 2025. This is what made this game really fun, and I kind of wish it ended a little bit more excitingly. But the fact that we get to watch this dude play every single week, and we're not going to get to see a rematch here in the playoffs, it is just total spoiling of NFL fans that he's even on this planet.
He is the face of football. He is the face of football. Sorry, Mahomes is in a bad year, and they're boring, and he hasn't looked that great this year. Josh Allen, face of football. Lamar Jackson, same situation as Mahomes. Been hurt this year, not a great team, hasn't been exceptional. Josh Allen has been. He is the only quarterback right now that is pushing the position forward. And it's pushing it forward in a much more physical way than I expected the quarterback position to be played in 2025, where the best guy is still just a tank that has a rocket arm, rolls out as far as he can to the sideline, throws across his body, Brett Favre-like, and throws bullets. And then in the second half, when it gets cold, I'm going to run through your ass. I'm going to run through your dumb ass because you don't want to tackle me in Buffalo in the snow. It sounds like the worst day ever. It's Derrick Henry with Warren Moon's arm.
He really couldn't be more perfect for Buffalo. And I think
it's perfect.
That's what maybe Buffalo had missed when they kept falling short with the Super Bowl, and then the periods and stretches of time where they weren't as successful. Having a guy that's just a dump truck when it's cold, who's hitting you like a brick.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it really is perfect. It couldn't be more perfect.
It's a great fit. Find a quarterback that's going to match your city, too. Lamar works in Baltimore. Josh Allen works in Buffalo. I think Caleb Williams is going to work in Chicago. I really do. I think that he's kind of weird. I think he looks like a fiery ass competitor, and he just it works. Some guys work in certain spots. Josh Allen couldn't have been placed in a better destination for his skill set. Could he be doing a lot of the same things if he was in a dome and he was playing it in like Indy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect temperature,
No,
climate.
it wouldn't be as fun.
It wouldn't be nearly as
No.
fun. It wouldn't be,
fun.
as fun at all. Give me the snow. Give me the players hitting in the snow. It was great. Like even on Cincinnati, Geno Stone was making plays on defense. Like everybody came to play. Yep. Mike Gesicki was showing up. These players get up when the situation is down. And that's kind of some, I don't know if you had this when you played football, Joe. I had it a little bit. Like if it was my position group or a team period or whatever, and I saw one other person like dogging it a little bit or suffering or really going through it, that moved me to not do that. Like that pushed me forward a little bit. Like if we were doing core and somebody was like kind of laying down.
This. I don't want to be the guy who
don't want to be the guy
soft.
You don't want to be the formerly termed GOAT before it became greatest of all time. You don't want to be that guy. And I think that snow and the elements make football players tap into that kind of dormant layer that takes place when you're playing in the warm.
The Bucs went from being one of the hottest teams in the NFL to now quite possibly the coldest team in the NFL. And this is tough for this show because we really love watching Baker Mayfield. We really love watching this Buccaneers franchise produce the success that they have over the past couple of years, and especially this season. Started 6-2 entering the bye. They have lost 4 of their 5 games since that Week 9 bye. The Bucs were 4-1 in one possession games before their bye, hence why they were fun, they were exciting, they were exhilarating, they were finishing in these tight games. They are 1-2 in one possession games after that. I believe they now have coming up 2 matchups with the Panthers, which really makes this NFC South race quite compelling. You mentioned, you mentioned they're playing the Falcons on Thursday night.
Prime time.
We've got
who's going to miss that?
We've got 2 games now with them tied at the top of the division with a record of 7-6. Hey man, I know that's not a great record for the team that wins the division, but I think that this is a real fun storyline to track because both these teams are really quite compelling. And we did a whole segment last week talking about how the Panthers are this up and coming team. Well, now there's a real shot that we get the Panthers getting into the NFC South or winning the division and getting into the playoffs. I'm rooting for it. And I think that if the Bucs are going to blow this opportunity, I'd rather much have the team that's the young up and comer.
I'd rather see Bryce Young right now than Tampa because Tampa's going on a skid. Tampa, you know how you lose to the Saints, Joe? You don't watch film on the Saints. You don't really practice that hard in the week before playing the Saints because they're going with Tyler Shuck. All right? It's not yelling time for me because if I start thinking too deeply about the NFC South and the status of it, I'm going to be in a bad spot mentally. It will break me to think about this rotted out division that's just been suck at all year and then watching the other teams underperform in it. But the Tampa Bay Carolina race is weird because Tampa Bay, older team, more composed team that's more acclimated to winning. So maybe they took a couple games off, right? Because they know how they're going to get back and win. It's tough to get wins in December, though. Carolina looked like they're learning how to win this year, and that is something that is so dangerous. Team learns how to win, and now they can't stop. Now they're addicted to it. Now they're on that winning spoon, and they can't get off. So I
don't think we need a crack reference in there.
I thought.
Or was it heroin?
Spoon, I thought was
heroin.
I thought so.
Goes to show how much we know about drugs.
Yeah.
The anti-drug podcast.
That's
Hack
right.
City.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs, kids.
We're so cool. The Bucs
I'd be a little more concerned if we were able to really break that down and listen to a podcast. Like, what are these guys? These guys are we're getting detailed about doing heroin.
It's
this is a football show.
My heroin is watching the Saints lose. Personally, that's the thing that gets me out of bed every day.
Heroin's you being wrong about Tyler Shuck.
I know, dude. I can't be.
You're one of the worst. To be quite honest with you, you're one of the worst prophesizers of quarterbacks. You immediately pull out on quarterbacks so quickly, and then suddenly they start playing well. It has happened numerous times.
You defend this guy. You defend Tyler Shuck and tell me
he was electric in this game. What are you doing here? Let the kid play. You're bailing on him.
What? Let the who play?
Let the grown man play.
Okay.
He's our age, which is crazy. We finished playing football.
I was 1,000%
5 years ago.
I was 1,000% right about JJ. I was 1,000% right about Trevor Lawrence. I was 1,000%
You're not right about Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, I am.
Trevor Lawrence played his ass off against the Colts yesterday. This is my whole point.
It was a tight game
You
before.
hate guys that are figuring their shit out.
Here's what I'll say with Jacksonville. I love when you bait me into this because I'm always prepared. Devin Lloyd should be getting paid Trevor Lawrence's money.
God.
That's the situation that we got rolling in Jacksonville. It's not about Jacksonville, though. I want to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how you can't lose to the Saints. This team is so bad that everybody should be crashing out in Tampa today. Honestly, you'd be justified for it. The Saints are a team that are so bad that if your team loses to them, you should be calling the local station. You should be lighting them up. You should be expecting more from your team next week. So here's another fun layer. Tampa, short week, pissed off, dropped the game they didn't need to, are going to take all those frustrations out on Thursday Night Football primetime against the Atlanta Falcons. How could you miss that game? You're going to see a 50-burger. 50-burger by the third quarter. I don't think the Bucs are in tremendous trouble, though. If it's coming down to them, I think they're going to split with, honestly, I think they're going to split with the Panthers. They're going to go 1-1, and the tiebreakers is just going to be determined.
I think that if they split with the Panthers, which is probably possible based on how both these teams have been a little bit bipolar, the outcomes that they've produced, Buccaneers' remaining schedule is Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, Carolina. So that one,
Gauntlet.
That is favorable. It's a little bit more favorable for them. And for the Panthers, they have another gauntlet: Saints, Bucs, Seahawks, Bucs. So I think that the difference here is that they have to play the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And having to play the Seahawks in the final weeks while the Bucs get to duel with the dipshit Dolphins. What an alliteration there. Duel with the dipshit Dolphins. I think that gives them the slight bump. But why do I feel like we're going to get a situation where we're looking and going, how the hell did the Bucs lose to the Dolphins? And then we're also saying, how the hell did the Panthers beat the Seahawks? I don't know why, but I feel like that is going to be what's in our future.
You're 1,000% spot on. And this is what's been giving me migraines throughout the NFL season, right? Is that you want to be able to say anybody could beat anybody, and that's good for the league. That's healthy. I need genuinely, I need 5 teams that are basically unbeatable by the dregs of the league, by the basement teams. I need 5 teams that don't play that shit. And all year, everybody's just been losing to everybody. And that's what just gets in my craw is that I need 5. I don't need a whole conference being, no, I don't need 9 either. No. Because 9 is a little excessive. I need 5 teams.
My JJ McCarthy joke.
Oh, sorry. Pardon me. 9. If 9 won 5 games, that'd be good for him. Look, the Bucs are capable of losing to anybody. Everybody's capable of losing to anybody. We're in an era of the NFL where the adage is true. Anything can happen on a Sunday. Anybody can win on Sunday, which is great, but it's also terrible.
I'm excited to see what happens. Even though it feels like the schedule is predictable for the Panthers and the Bucs, it feels like we're going to get the most unpredictable outcome. This Bears-Packers game was pretty unpredictable. 28-21. Man, this was a good old-fashioned NFC North punch each other in the back of the head type of a battle, man. This one got me fired up, tracking this bad boy. Here's the thing with the Bears, though. They are a very weird team. They have had their 5-game winning streak got snapped. That loss now puts them in a really complicated spot. The Bears are just the 4th team since the 1970 merger to hold a record of 9-4 or better while maintaining a negative point differential.
That's right.
That is the weirdest outcome of all of this. I don't think a lot of people realize that is how they have lived most of this year. They dropped them from the number 1 seed all the way back down to 7, which is insane what power the NFC North holds over the NFC. I'm rooting for the Bears. I think that they showed a lot of fight. I think that they showed that they're still like a 3/4 baked team. We took it out of the oven a little bit too early. It's a little too soupy. We gotta put it back in.
Yeah.
Next year it's gonna be nice and the pie is gonna be really, really nice and crispy and tasty. Everything's gonna be cooked all the way through, but it's too soupy right now.
You're just telling me Nana botched the pie this year?
Nana botched the pie.
All right. Well, here's the good thing. I see a lot of promise with the Bears. I see a lot of promise with the Packers. I don't know why I'm acting like the Packers can't be a threat for the next 5 to 7. They will. They'll continue to be great. What a scene, by the way. Lambeau rocking, looked like it was 10 degrees out. It looked like they were playing on concrete. It was awesome. I'm sure this rivalry won't change when Chicago is playing on turf under a roof. I'm sure they won't looked as like a bunch of soft cowards going out, and then when they have to go play the Packers, they'll get worked because they get acclimated to the warm. I hate that they're putting a roof on their stadium. But the bright side, I think Caleb Williams will be a top 5 quarterback in this league. I'm near certain of it, actually. He's got that sicko Ben Johnson with him, and I didn't know how this was going to work because Ben Johnson didn't seem like he was a tolerate a bunch of nonsense guy. It seemed like he's got a laser-focused love for football demeanor, and Caleb Williams, some of the baggage didn't look like he was going to click with it. Doesn't matter. Caleb Williams looks so good. He made a couple throws in this game, Joe, where I'm like, well, there's 4 or 5 people on the planet that can make that throw. He just slotting the ball where you need it. Some of the decisions he made, especially late in the game, the final play, he just missed them. He just missed. He was late. It was late on the pass. That's something that gets figured out in the offseason. Like his jump from year 1 to year 2 has been extraordinary. Like genuinely, like really, really good. Not as good as Drake May's. I know that Drake May is probably the top of that class, that draft class right now. But Caleb's coming. I think that his development, they couldn't have found a better coach for him and the mentality of Chicago, how he's playing, mixing the run, his ability to scramble. He's got a rifle too. Every time, I swear to God, I think he might have the strongest arm in the league.
I'd still give that to Allen or Mahomes before I would give it to. Well, of course, it's good old Joe Milton, but
yeah,
I see him play.
I'm just like Caleb Williams like teleports the ball to receivers sometimes. I'm impressed. Yeah, I really, really am. And this is I know it's kind of coming off like glazing, but I got to glaze him because he's taken so much crap in his first year and change for what he was going to be, and he's a number 1 overall pick. He came from Lily Soft to USC and did transfers and nail painting and all this stuff. All right. He's getting better, and he's going to be a force in the league. I am so excited to watch Caleb Williams and his career because if he keeps on giving us games like this versus the Packers, what more could you want from football? There's nothing better than Bears-Packers clobbering each other. They were hitting. Running backs running hard. Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift were going just pound for pound at each other. It was awesome. I love this game. I'd watch it every week. Love these teams.
This was also just a big jump. If we look back at the beginning of the year, that game against the Vikings has always stuck in my head where it just felt like super disjointed. Just did not feel like that there was a good feel for the offense and everything was connected the way that it needed to be for them to hit the ground running this year. And everybody was continuously counting him out, and he has rebounded to his credit, and he has been extremely, extremely impressive. I think Caleb Williams has it. I think that he and Ben Johnson, if they continue to connect more and build their relationship, this team is only going to get better and more dangerous. They just have some things that they got to figure out on defense. They've got a couple of things that I think that their offensive line could use some improvements and a little bit of work. They'll be one of the most important teams to follow during the offseason. These 2 teams will be really interesting to track during the offseason because I don't even know which one's going to make the playoffs. Steelers beat the Ravens 27-22. They now have sole possession of first place in the AFC North. This is pretty crazy. It was the 41st one-possession game between the Steelers and Ravens. That is the most by any 2 teams since Baltimore entered the league in 1996 or when they relocated. Another part with this that's very bleak for the Ravens. This marks the first time that Baltimore has been below 500 after week 14 in the Lamar Jackson era. What's really quite compelling with the discussion about both these teams is in the past month, there have been different conversations about Mike Tomlin needing to take a step back, or for him to get traded, or for him to just straight up be fired.
To coach Penn State. I mean, anything. They were throwing out anything for Tomlin but coach the Steelers.
And John Harbaugh, we have the same exact thing where he's also being called to be fired and for him to be removed because he's ran his course. He won his Super Bowl with the team, and it's just time to get a fresh face in there. It's really just really interesting that we've got both of these guys that have been there so long, and we've been blessed with these battles every single year. These teams have been good every single year that they've been there, seemingly. And we've reached this head where both of them should be fired, is what every fan base keeps saying. And the funniest part is whichever one goes to the playoffs earns more time to stick around. And then the conversation is just going to start up next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens with all this.
I know. Here's what I got to tell people. This is actually a Deion Sanders adage. Everyone wants things microwave. They don't want to put it in the oven and really grill it and let it bake. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens don't operate like your regular shit basement team that's losing brutal games. They don't operate like that. They keep their coaches. They draft well. They have history. They have fans. They have legitimate pillars that uphold their organization, which is why players want to go play there. Okay, they want to go play in the cold. They want to go play in the uniforms. They want to represent the history of these teams, and that's because they're not always involved in some BS coaching search or some quarterback controversy or some nonsense. I know Pittsburgh's had a rougher go of it in the post Roethlisberger era, finding their quarterback. The Russell Wilson thing was a disaster. Justin Fields was a disaster. Aaron Rodgers has exceeded expectations. But that's like the most you've gotten from the Steelers in a very, very long time. They don't operate on the same timing that you want them to. That's because they have respect for themselves. They're not Cleveland. They're not Tennessee. They're not the two worst teams in the NFC South. They're not bad teams. So you're likely not going to get it. While the conversation about John Harbaugh should be had, and it shouldn't be, oh, we need to run John Harbaugh out of town. It should be, how can the team that nails so many draft picks every year post-draft, we come to this microphone and we say, man, how do we let the Ravens do it again? And they do it. They nail draft picks every time. How can they be just this adequate this year? That is the conversation that needs to be had. Is it the offensive line? Is it the defense? They got talent on every position at defense. How is this happening? That is the address that needs to happen, not let's find a new coach that can somehow, that we're going to change all the language up and change the culture in Baltimore. Why? Culture is good. You got cultures at both of these teams. You know how hard it is to develop that? I bet your team has tried building some nonsense slogan or they're always doing something to try to get, you got a train horn in your stadium now? That's cool. You doing something weird pregame? That's, yeah, cool. They don't do that shit. All right. So you got the culture built in, figure out the other stuff because there are just complaints. Pittsburgh does have this start off hot, beat Skells, and then fall off a little bit. And then Baltimore has this, are we ever going to meet the expectations of the talent that we have? Are we ever going to see it fully blossom into fruition? Those are the conversations, not fire your coach.
Well, and this is the part with all this that's, I think, the craziest. I agree with you. I think that getting rid of either coach is quite silly unless either of them has a desire to retire. We can't just look at the context of one season to determine, hey, this is done, this is cooked. The Ravens have been ridiculously injured, extremely, extremely injured. And that pack of games in the middle of the year where they were without Lamar and they were without a lot of key starters and you lose Nnamdi Madubuike and you just don't have the same level of premier guy available because of all these injuries and key moments. They were so shit at the beginning of the year because of their record, because they had all these tough games and they were the most banged up team in the NFL. That's why you are where you are. And a loss like this, it's not meaningless in most years, but it's more like a damn, we lost that one, but we'll be fine for the playoffs. Instead, because of what happened at the beginning of the season, it sounds like it's very doom and gloom. The circumstance for the Steelers, which is why I don't think that the Ravens are in any trouble. The Ravens are going to be completely fine. They're going to get back on track. Next year will be a very big year for them. They do need to get young, I think, at some spots. They need to get some more youth at pass rusher along their defensive line.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. The Steelers are quite perplexing because their woes this year feel like they have come from the fact that they're just not ultra dynamic on offense. That you've got a over 40-year-old quarterback who only can do so much. And they're the result of, and this is what's really insane. The Ravens stayed competitive after they had taken Lamar Jackson because Lamar was otherworldly and the NFL was stupid.
Right.
The Steelers haven't been able to figure out what the hell they're going to do. They haven't sucked enough to go and get their quarterback. Do they trade up this year? Do they go all in? If you're in the playoffs, that's going to cost you a lot to go up and get Dante Moore. And I think Fernando Mendoza kind of locked himself into, not fully locked in, but is damn near approaching being the first overall pick. If you love him, are you going to be able to trade up to that first overall pick spot? Are you willing to mortgage your future that much just to plug in a quarterback to hope that he works out? They have been the result of being consistently competitive, but not getting back to that degree of dominance that they had under Ben Roethlisberger, to where they've toiled in mediocrity and being a step above mediocrity because they can't find a damn quarterback. The direction in these two teams is so starkly different. I think that the Ravens are best positioned to be successful in the future, while the Steelers are the biggest question mark, arguably, in the NFL.
I love the bones of the Steelers, though. Their offensive line, when fully healthy, Broderick Jones, Isaac Seumalo, Zach Frazier, stud, Mason McCormick, and Troy Fatano. That's an offensive line that can win a freaking Super Bowl. I'm not kidding. That is a 5 for 5. You knock them all out of the park offensive line. Defense, they got the guys. Like they have as many key players on defense that you need. You just need a quarterback that can get the defense off the field just a little bit. You need a quarterback that can extend a drive with his legs maybe once or twice. Maybe once or twice a game, he turns a 3rd and 8 where everyone's covered into a first down, and then you get some points with a field goal or a touchdown. They just need that guy. They don't need superhero first 1-1 overall pick. I don't know why they're not swinging. Honest to God, is Mason Rudolph a great backup, right? What are the other spots doing? Like is Will Howard your future? If not, you got to start prepping.
He's not.
Oh,
I don't think that he is. I mean, this is part
I
of
draft a quarterback every year. I draft 2, actually.
This is part of the problem. That's a stupid take. This is part of the problem. I can't believe you just said that.
You don't think they'd want to have Shedeur waiting in the wings after his performance?
I think that they would like to have it, but we're not drafting 2 quarterbacks per team. This is part of the problem, though, that do they go the free agent route again, and do they get into the Mac Jones sweepstakes?
Nope.
Do they get in the Trey Lance, see if they can go get Trey Lance? I just don't know what I would sell. Actually, not. Never mind. Let me just re-enter this because I think he's going to be really cheap. I'd go and get Anthony Richardson. I would sign Mac Jones and I would go and get Anthony Richardson, because if Richardson can work a little bit better in the Arthur Smith offense and he plays a little bit more confidently and he gets his juice back, maybe he ends up working really well in Pittsburgh and they rally around him. And if not, you got Mac Jones.
You'd rather sign this is why I'd rather draft 2. I'd rather draft the best athlete in the class.
But they're already.
Let me draft Taylon Green and let me draft the kid from TCU.
That's just dumb. I'm not doing that, because you've got guys you've got a guy that's been in the league for multiple years.
They're
now.
at least cheaper.
He could pop like that. He could be ready to go like that. Like he could finally hit his stride instead of trying to take the jump. But why would I also waste draft picks on positions that I need to build depth? That's the problem.
Oh, that's so annoying, because you need a quarterback and you need to be in the quarterback lottery. Here's a serious question.
Those backup guys are not going to get them there.
You don't know that. You don't know. We don't know. We don't know that.
I do know that.
There's no way. Does Kyler Murray help fix the Steelers? Because he
just doesn't seem like a Steelers quarterback.
He doesn't.
He just doesn't come off as one.
He really doesn't seem like a guy that would like the cold or the physicality or the AFC North.
I don't know where he goes.
But he's going to be one of the top quarterback guys that are getting mentioned this offseason.
I don't think that he would fit.
Guys.
I don't think he would fit.
What am I, 8?
The Sunday night football game between the Chiefs and the Texans.
Oh, yes.
God, this was depressing to watch. I am really, really impressed by that Texans defense, man.
It's so good.
They have leaned into that defensive identity, and they have completely overtaken games. Will Anderson is unbelievable to watch. That secondary is.
I'm trying to tell y'all about J.R. Petre. I've been trying to tell y'all.
Flies all over the field. They make so many big plays. I think that now is the moment that we have to sit here and say, hey, we need to acknowledge that we need a hard reset for the Chiefs. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not saying let's fire Andy Reid or encourage him to retire, but it just felt like everybody kept letting Mahomes down. There were so many drops. there were so many plays where his throws weren't perfect, but in the past, they had the right squad
Yeah.
that he could go do his thing and everybody would just make a play after the catch and they would produce all these big explosives. If you can't catch the ball in the cold in Kansas City, which is your identity, it's time that we got to start over. Kelsey's done.
He blows, man.
He can't catch the ball.
Terrible.
There needs to be a complete and utter rework for this team this offseason. If they miss the playoffs, I don't know where you start first, but you need a dynamic tight end. You need to go and get another wide receiver. They have potential defensively, as they always do, but right now they're leaving a lot on the field.
They'll probably send a fourth for Pitts, honestly. It's third or a fourth, and which honestly I'd encourage.
He's a free agent.
I don't know what's going to happen with them. Atlanta's going to try to sign him for too much money. But I'd like to see him in Kansas City with a real quarterback and see him blossom. They need a running back. Kareem Hunt has just a touchdown machine. Fine. There's a lot of touchdown machine guys that you can give the ball at the 5-yard line in the league, and they'll just get in the end zone. Like it's built for it. Isaiah Pacheco experiment, kind of done with it. Rashard Smith, you've had opportunities this year in the backfield, haven't maximized on it. Sorry, this is the Kansas City Chiefs. You got to do that here. The receiving room, I'm keeping Rashee Rice, obviously. Like he's a talented wide receiver, somebody that I will continue my future with. Xavier Worthy, what do we think about Xavier Worthy a year and change after he's been drafted? Serviceable? Sure. Wide receiver 1? No. Wide receiver 2? No. He's a 3. He's a very good 3. He could be the best 3 in the league, but he's a 3.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown, thanks for coming. Tyquan Thornton, you dropped 1 billion passes this year. Thanks for coming. You're gone. Noah Gray, you don't look big enough to block. Like I don't think he's blocking well enough. Juju Smith-Schuster, enough of the roster spot.
Yeah.
Done. We're done. It is going to be a hard reset. Travis Kelce, you're gone. Please retire in peace. Thank you and see yourself out. We appreciate your service at Kansas City. You're done for. You were the guy that could extend drives by making the catch needed. Instead, you are clipping them at the knees with brutal, un-Kelsey-like drops. What confuses me, where'd the hands go? Because if you're a tight end and you lose, you're naturally going to lose athleticism.
Well, maybe his concentration has just kind of gone down because he lost the juice. He lost that explosiveness that he had. Maybe he's now in his head because he knows he can't say. I don't know. Maybe it just seems mental to this point.
I've just seen him get hit in the hands plenty. Credit to Patrick Mahomes. He's not throwing hospital balls to his buddy. He's putting it right on his hands.
He was putting the ball
8 yards.
Yeah.
8 yards. Drop. Where does that go? I didn't see even Jason Witten on the Raiders wasn't dropping the ball.
No.
I mean, Tony Gonzalez was 80 playing for Atlanta. He still had hands. He couldn't run a sub 5 second 40 in Atlanta, and he was still catching the ball. Here's something else. I guarantee a 41-year-old Mercedes Lewis could catch the rock. He's used as a blocker now. It says an auxiliary tackle.
I forgot that he's 41 and still in the league.
I bet he could still catch the rock. It's yips. This is weird. This is some weird stuff happening with Travis Kelce, and I think it's somehow infecting that stupid Jarvis Landry Hard Knocks clip, where it's the infectious. It's infectious. The losing's infectious. The injuries are infectious. Drops are infectious too. Get right, because I mean I don't know. Are we ready for a Kansas City Chiefs-less postseason? Who's good in the AFC?
It's going to happen.
Denver?
I don't know why this feels like we're shaping up towards a Bills run. And that's going to be really hilarious that we're entering into a situation where the one time that they could go on the run is when the Chiefs are.
That's going to be a nasty narrative.
Aren't there
I didn't even
knock them out. That is going to be really funny.
Of that.
That is going to be so damn funny. I can't wait for that.
Here's what it's actually. If NBA Twitter was NFL Twitter, this league would be on fire with this right now. NFL Twitter.
I want that to happen because it's going to make it all very funny. It's going to make it hilarious.
NFL Twitter's a little more violent, but they don't have the subtleties that NBA Twitter works with. Their debates are better than NFL Twitter debates. But oh my God, I didn't even consider that, Joe. Yeah. It's going to be like LeBron's hurt, and now the Raptors are going to they finally get to the finals in the East. Holy shit. Oh my God, is that a narrative?
All right, everybody. That's going to be it from us today. We will be back next Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. Enjoy the rest of your week, folks. We'll talk to you later.